It's Friday, and like most of us, I've been at work today and I'm craving the outdoors. It is the 19th of January today, and I haven't taken a photograph this year. I mean, I've taken them for work, of course, because of the property stuff. I've done some headshots, but that just feels all a bit worky. So what I really want to do is shoot for myself. So I'm really craving some serenity. So it's not really a particular photograph I'm after. It's more a feeling. As ridiculous as that sounds, I'm going to go to Wales tomorrow and I'm going to go and find some serenity. Just hope the rugby's not on. So one thing I haven't checked, well I did check a couple of hours ago, but I just got to double check the weather, because if it's really sunny then I'm not going to bother going, and if it is hurricane force winds then I'm not going to go. Rain all day. Everywhere looks terrible. North, south, east, west. And the locations that I was thinking about to go to shoot all are either going to be literally a wet weekend. The weather on Monday looks better. And I'm free Monday. So there's a 50% chance of rain for the place that I want to go tomorrow. It's so tricky. Will it be a waste of time? I'll sleep on it. You didn't doubt me, did you? Of course I was gonna come. So I've parked the car, you might be able to see just behind me, and straight away you've got these waterfalls. You've got a sort of quite a fast running stream. Lots of photo opportunities straight out the car. So unfortunately I've got to get up to the lake because it is sort of 3 o'clock now and I've got about an hour and a half left of light, but it's very foggy, as you can see. The mist is lifting over there, which is good news, so you never know, we might get some colour. But what I really want to get is a minimal composition. It sounds crazy. I've just driven 2.5 hours, but I would be happy with just one photo today. Just one picture is my aim. And with this fog, I just want something minimal. And like I said yesterday, serene. Not Serena, that's something else. So I've finally arrived at the lake and it is everything that I wanted it to be. The fog seems to be coming in and just dashing out. Sometimes it lingers and sometimes it's clear. And it, like literally 30 seconds ago, or before I started filming this, I couldn't see a thing. Now I can see the tops as clear as day. So I'm in a bit of a dichotomy. The shot that I really wanted was some foregroundy rocks looking out to the rest of the lake. And another shot that I really wanted was up there looking this way. If I do that, that will consume time. Also, I run the risk of not being able to see anything if the fog comes in. So what I'm looking for, I'm actually scouting the location out. I've never been here before, and sometimes when you see things on Instagram and Google, you think you know an image because you've looked at it 100 times, but you get here and the scale is completely different. it's bigger or smaller than you thought it was. And what I'm looking for is a shallow part of the lake, and the reason I want that is because what I want are some sort of rocks that are almost just above the shoreline, so I can just stick the camera just on that level, just above that. Then I've got the lake, and then I've got the I think they call them the fans, Carmarthen fans in the background. So that's what I'm looking for. So I'm just having a little walk around the lake. So far, no joy. Right, I've turned round because I can't find anything up there. And I'm just now looking at these two rocks and just wondering if I can do anything here. I've got to decide what the feature of the photograph is. Personally, I think it's this half, because I think they're a bit more epic to look at. But then this side, you've got this big sort of black belt around the middle, which I think is really cool as well. So difficult choosing your composition. I don't normally give it this, it sounds laughable, but I don't normally give it this much thought. And because I'm overthinking it, I'm struggling to find something. But I'm convincing myself that taking my time is going to be worth it, because the best photographers don't rush things. Right, I think I'm going to set up here and take an exposure here. Let's see what I can get. All the fog's coming back. Yeah, I think this could be a good setup. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm liking the symmetry actually. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm just really quickly going to talk you through my composition. So I found these two rocks, like I said, and I quite like them. So I'm going to put the camera right in the middle, which I have, and I am going to focus. I might focus stack, I'm not sure yet, but what I am going to do is bracket this. So I'm going to do 3 exposures and put them all together, because what I want to try and get is the clarity, because there's a lot of dynamic range in the foreground and also in the background, and now we've got a little bit of fog coming in, so that's when I can do with the longer end of the shutter. So the shorter will give me the nice lights of the greens, and the longer exposure will give me the nice smooth water, because it is actually quite windy. It doesn't feel it, but it is. So the water has actually got a lot of ripples. So I'm hoping I can combine all those elements in one exposure through 3 photographs. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so f11, I'm at 2 seconds, ISO 100, and I'm bracketing that so I stop either side, and I think that's going to look quite nice. Fog looks like it's coming back into play, look. So I'm wondering how I can use that. Once again, things change, and I was going to go up there, but then the fog came in, so I found another location. I found a rock this time, and now what I'm doing, I'm actually going to do a panorama, because the mist is actually, it keeps breaking. I'm not sure how it's going to look when it comes out, but I'm going to try and do like a 5-image panorama, very high key. I'm exposing to the right, which basically means it's going to appear a little bit more exposed. And the thing is, there's nothing I can really do with the detail anyway up there, because it's so foggy and it's just a sheet of white, so that doesn't really bother me. So this is number 4. Look at that, isn't that cool? Look how quickly that fog moves. It's majestic. I really want to come back here again for a sunrise, I think. And I think I want to come up there. In fact, I might actually come up here for a wild camp one day. I've just looked back on them images, and there's lots of spots of rain, as there is on the front of this lens. So that hasn't worked out, which makes me really grateful that I managed to get that shot over there. So I've got to really think about what I want to do prontissimo, really. Clean this lens for starters. The weather has closed in quite quickly, and the fog behind me has really sat down. So any hopes of getting anything, let alone a long exposure, have all been but denied. So I'm going to head back to the car now. I'm not going to get anything else, obviously. Do you reckon I could do any astro? It looks like I've just got one photo, maybe two. The first photo with the two rocks. But I think when you go shooting, I think you should look to get at least two pictures, because one is almost like your insurance policy, that you get the photo you wanted or something along the lines of what you were after, and then you can start to experiment, stretch your legs a bit and go and find other locations. Like, what a good decision it was for me not to go up there. Like, look what would have happened. Would have seen zero. I'm glad that I've seen that little area over there, because next time I come back, I think I know where I'm going to head first. So, did I get my piece of serenity? I don't know. You will have seen the photo by now, so I don't know really how happy I'm going to be with it. But this place is so cool. It's like the fog just teases you. It just shows you as you're walking up to here, just opens up slightly and shows you glimpses of the tops. And it's really cool. Anyway, now it's time to power back to the car while I can still see. Long story short, I've never been here before, first time here, and I'm so impressed. And like I said a few videos ago, this year I want to start going to Wales more. I want to start going to places that I both have and haven't been before. So this year is about more landscape expeditions, more exploration, and all weather, just trying to find my style, because you probably feel like this sometimes. I don't actually know what my thing is, my landscape thing is. Is it calm lakes? Is it seascapes? Is it big mountain vistas with crazy skies? So I want to try and see what works for me best. So that's why I came here today. So if I've got one image out today, I'll be happy. Also, leave a comment below of anywhere you think that I would love, anywhere you want me to try, and I'll see if I can get there this year, which I should be able to, within reason. This is okay because I'm going downhill all the way to the car. But one other thing as well, if you come here, there's a river or a stream that runs the whole entire way down from the lake, which is a glacial elevated lake, by the way, all the way down to the car. And if you love a waterfall, then you could be in luck, because there are a lot. It's basically this for the next 4 miles. Right, I'm back. In fact, it's actually the day after, and I really enjoyed yesterday's mini micro landscape trip. I was only actually out in the location for a couple of hours, and I managed to get one photograph, and I'll show the other one that I did get before the rain came, because I attempted a panorama later on, which didn't come off, but just before that I did do a wide shot. But I just wanted to quickly show you the pictures that I got yesterday. Instead of showing you how I edited them, I'll show you what I've done to them. So let's just jump straight into the one with the rocks. Now, that was the one that I took first, and I've done quite a few things. So first of all, let's start with a graduated filter. So I've added a graduated filter in, and here what it's done is it's just darkened down the top of the sky. Now, I know that won't really do a lot to the picture, especially the sky, because there's no detail in the sky. All I wanted to do was just to not overexpose the sky section, because it's very white, and instinctively the picture, your eye goes to the brightest part of the picture. So by making that a little bit darker, I can then put a bit more onus on the foreground interest and leading you into the background, which is what I wanted to do. So that's why I've done that. I've added clarity on the back of the picture, which are the mountains, and I've done that by using a what do we call this? A paintbrush? A brush? Yeah, I've added a brush. And what I've done here is I've just selected all the dark parts, and as you can see on the right hand side, I've added contrast, I've upped the shadows, and I've added clarity and a little bit of sharpness. And then move into, I don't think I've actually touched the lake. I didn't actually touch the lake, and what I also did was I looked at the highlights, which were the greener parts of the mountain, selected all of those manually, and then I have, again, I've raised the shadows, I have raised the clarity, the sharpness, and the contrast. And then moving down to the rocks. Now, I think if I can select the rocks, here we go. Yeah, I've selected all of the rocks, and I have just quite simply upped the saturation. I've upped the sharpness and the clarity just to make it super, what's the word? Visceral, real, feel like you're right there. And what that's enabled you to do is to really pick out the details in the foreground, because they're full of interest, full of that bright green moss, which I think adds a lovely contrast to the scene, because over the lake you've got that kind of dark, almost pale yellow, almost mustard kind of colour of the mountain, and I think this is quite a vivid green, so I really like that green, because it's a really lively green, so I really like that. And then overall what I've done, and let's just click off the spot removal, the brush, I have just I've actually decreased the exposure, I've gotten rid of the highlights, I've increased the shadows, I've taken down the blacks and pulled up the whites, I've pulled up the clarity, I've done my reverse saturation, what I like to do, I've increased the vibrance and taken down the saturation. Looking further down, I've increased the yellows and taken down the greens. As you know, green's not my favourite colour in the world, so when I can get rid of green, I will. And I've increased the sharpening, and that is it. That's all I've done. I mean, I say that's it, that's quite a lot. So that is my first picture, a little before and after. So look how flat it was beforehand, and this is what we've managed to make in Lightroom. Now this is the second picture, one that I will just turn my phone off because I don't want any interruptions. Now this is my second picture, and as you can see, it's very minimal. It wasn't exactly my best picture ever taken. I've got a couple of dust spots I've noticed straight away, but this isn't a finished article by any stretch of imagination. I've actually just added shadows. I've raised the shadows and dropped the highlights, taken down the whites, taken down the blacks, and I think that's all. I've increased the sharpening slightly, and have I done anything in the way of clarity? No, I haven't. And I've added I've added a graduated filter to pull it down. But I mean, this didn't make the vlog because I'm not massively happy with the balance. I do like the slope of the mountain that comes down to the rock, or you could argue it goes the other way. You look at the rock first, and then the eye goes up to the mountain, which is covered in fog. It's very minimal, it's very two-tone, which I like. Funnily enough, this is the kind of thing, this is closer to the idea of the original picture that I had. But I ended up using this one as my main picture from the trip. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. It's been a little bit longer than usual, as I mentioned, so thanks for sticking with it if you've got this far. Massively appreciate you guys for watching this. If you haven't already subscribed, then please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I really want to get back here one day, because this place is epic. Wales is epic anyway, but coming to the national parks in Wales is just something different. I want to spend more time in Wales this year. So I want to thank you again for watching. You know what I'm going to say. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends, folks. See you next week. Da da